The best place to watch all of the finals action is in the FanDuel Sportsbook, or is it Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel, where the FanDuel Sportsbook is just steps away. But right there at Sports and Social, with the giant media wall, the intense, amazing atmosphere where everyone is living and dying on every shot, every moment during the course of a game. Plus, you get that great food selection. Make a night out of it. Make a weekend out of it. Maybe check out some of the entertainment while you're down there. Just the best place. The finals get underway starting on Thursday between basketball and hockey. Nothing will compare to watching them in Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, where I have had many a night over the years and really, really enjoy it. All right, so we're talking about the continued fallout from this moment on Saturday. Kennedy Carter gives a hip check to Caitlyn Clark. It certainly seems unnecessary, to say the least, but is part of a physical sport. And as I talked about before, when we lose and having this conversation is that this is not new. This is not Angel Reese just got flagrantly fouled a week before by Alyssa Thomas to the point where Alyssa Thomas had to be ejected from a game. This happens in basketball. Yesterday, Lawson, Pat McAfee, calling Caitlyn Clark a white bitch, which he thought was, in his world, complimentary, but clearly did not play well. He also said the point that he was trying to make is stop trying to pretend like it's about this rookie class. It's only about this one. That's where he said what he said. And this has been this bizarre. Again, because we're not well-versed enough to talk about the game, to talk about, we have just fallen into this race war when it comes to discussing Caitlyn Clark. Angel Reese was talking to the media, and Angel Reese made some comments. And the way the first clip played turned a lot of heads. Let's listen to the first clip first. This is obviously St. Francis's own and the Chicago Sky forward, Angel Reese.
It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me, too, and I want y'all to realize that. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now.
It gets shared out by all these different, folks on Twitter, and everybody wants to dunk on Angel Reese. Everybody wants to say, oh, you think you're more important than you are. Even if that clip stood alone, even if it ended there, it would be fact. I'll give you an example. The Washington Mystics play their next home game against the Chicago Sky. Do you know where that game's being played? They're playing it at Capital One Arena. Because there was such demand for tickets, they had to move it out of their building, much like they did for their game against the Indiana Fever and Caitlyn Clark. Now, perhaps someone would say, well, but it's unique because she's from maybe, but it's still happening. Maybe it's just such an influx of people that want to drive down from Baltimore for the game on Thursday to see Angel Reese. I don't know. Here's what I also know. In the preseason, the Chicago Sky played the Minnesota Lynx in a preseason game that had no broadcast whatsoever. A fan in attendance put up a cell phone video of that broadcast. You know how many people ended up getting on that stream? Not announced somewhere, not, hey, you can watch on YouTube, just generically. A person on a cell phone for a Chicago Sky Minnesota Lynx preseason game. Now, remind me, which of those two teams does Caitlyn Clark play for?
Don't think she's on either.
Either one of those two teams. For a Chicago Sky Minnesota Lynx preseason game. Someone picked up a cell phone, not a real broadcast, no broadcasters involved, no announcement that this was going to happen. No, hey, tune into YouTube tonight to watch the Chicago Sky. No, go download the Prime Video app and you can. A generic grassroots just happened on the internet and people started tweeting about it. How many people jumped on that stream?
1,000?
2 million.
Oh, my gosh.
2 million people jumped on that stream. So much so that it forced the WNBA to reconsider their plans for preseason broadcasts. So even if that clip that said, hey, they're tuning in for Me Too, ended right there, it would be factually accurate. But it didn't. And there was another part of the clip that didn't get the same traction. This is more of Angel Reese.
I want y'all to realize that. It's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game, and Kennedy has been here before, obviously, but there are so many great players in this league that have deserved this for a really, really long time, and luckily, it's coming now.
So it's not Angel Reese just trying to make it about herself. It's Angel Reese saying what a lot of us have been trying to say to those of you that have no interest in listening. When you say asinine things like, well, I don't know if women's college basketball, this was a once-in-a-lifetime stuff. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. You're wrong. You think that either because you're purposefully obtuse or because you just don't know. This isn't even unheard of. When Cheryl Miller broke out on the scene, Cheryl Miller drove insane television ratings. Well, I don't know if there's going to be another star that can follow this up. There will be plenty, because there have always been stars. There might not have been the same spotlight, but there have always been special players. You're just telling on yourself, which is fine. If you present it a different way and said, look, man, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just started watching women's basketball. On me. You're saying the same thing, but you're saying it in a far more palatable way. I'm not an authority on this subject. I don't know. I don't know who the players are. I haven't watched the sport. I came along because of Caitlyn Clark. I'm fascinated in learning more. But when you say asinine things like, well, only anyone ever watches because you're just wrong. Flatly. And indisputably. And it doesn't mean that right now Caitlyn Clark might not be the biggest draw in women's basketball. I think that's pretty clear. I don't think anybody would debate that. But when you say things like she's the only, you're stupid. Or you're trying to push a narrative. People are tuning in to see Angel Reese. Lots of them. Anyone who tried to go to that game at Coppin State in December would tell you about the hours-long line. And the crowds that they had at LSU. Angel Reese is a draw. She's also having a phenomenal season. You are wrong. Pat McAfee, it's not because he said bitch, his statement was incorrect. He's wrong. I'm going to guess that he's been wrong about lots of things. We all are. I'm wrong constantly. In a month, you might be dunking on the fact that I said I wanted Ramona Rios to be off the roster the way that it's gone for the last week. He might be the MVP of the team, and you're going to go back and say, didn't you want that guy off the roster? We're all wrong. You're wrong when you think that this is only the story of women's basketball is one person. It's not just wrong, it's effing embarrassing. Because it does detract, and it's unfair to her. It's not fair to Caitlyn Clark. Because then it presents it like if she's not God incarnate, that somehow she's been disappointing. She's a really great player. And that's part of the reason why she's getting such physical defense, is because they know how good of a player she is. But she's not so much better than everybody else in the history of the sport. You just don't know because you didn't watch. She's a damn good player. And to position her this way, where like somehow now for other people, she's to put her at the center of your race war or your culture war is awful for her. Awful. You think she wants to be involved with any of that? This is bull ass. Watch the sport or don't. But this is nonsense. Like, we have lost our effing minds. We have taken basketball and turned it into culture war. They all hate her because she's white. No, they're playing the physical defense against her because she's really good. It's about respect. Which you know if you know anything about competition. Why did Jimmy Patsos triple team Steph Curry in a game? Jesus. We're just so lost, and we'll take any little thing that someone feeds us on the internet and think that it's fact. We've been doing this with Trevor Bauer a lot recently. Trevor Bauer was obviously set up. This is obviously a shakedown. Well, yeah, there's some evidence that looks like one of these accusers, it might have been the case. But there's multiple accusers. So you fanboys of Trevor Bauer, they're like, the Orioles should sign Trevor Bauer, which they're not going to. I'm pretty confident about that. You're falling back on one video that you were fed on the internet and thinking that you know more than the 30 Major League Baseball teams that all want to win baseball games and would have the opportunity to sign someone at a lesser dollar value. Do you think, Joe in Parkville, that you know more about this topic, that you're more well-educated than the people that are trying at every turn to get maximum value for a baseball player? All of them have decided they won't even sign Trevor Bauer to a minimum deal. Who, presumably, all of them want to win, right? Not all of them. I'll take that back. I think it's pretty clear that some places they don't really want to win. But most of them, or at least a lot of them, want to win. But you're convinced that you know more. You know better. I saw a video on the internet. Trevor Bauer's innocent. He was the victim here. Yeah? That's what you think? You don't think it's at all possible that you just don't know all of the facts? You think that you've seen a video that these people have never seen, that they don't know. If they would have just watched this video, then they would know. That's how lost we are. And yes, it is worsened by, we're at a time of the year where if you're in a market where the baseball team doesn't matter, or if you're doing national media, and you got a week between NBA Finals games, and there's no LeBron versus Michael Jordan, there's not really a week's worth of content in there for a Dallas-Boston Finals matchup because it's just an interesting basketball matchup, and we don't do that anymore. This is what you got. Well, hey, race war plays, culture war plays, let's try to position this in that way and play off the dumbest of the dumb. We are playing to the lowest common denominators. She's white, they're black. That's something, right? It's embarrassing. And your response to the Angel Reese's comments is embarrassing. Because not only would the first one be factually accurate, it wasn't even the point she was trying to make, which was trying to put herself over. She was trying to say there have been lots and lots of women. White, black, Latin, lots of them. hilariously, as a lot of people pointed out after Pat McAfee's comments, one of the best rookies in the WNBA this season is also white and has turned into a bit of a superstar in Los Angeles, and Cameron Brink's awesome. So even there's one white, like, it's not even, that part isn't even true. There's actually two.
Two what?
White women.
Oh, okay.
And there's more than that, by the way. It's not like they're the
Right,
only
right.
two white women that are succeeding in the WNBA. They're the two high-profile rookies in the WNBA. But, man, we just can't say we don't know about this topic. We're not capable of saying that. And we continue to take in media from people that don't know what they're talking about. They have no clue. We're hopeless. This is what we've got. Let's listen to Pat McAfee scream about the WNBA like Pat McAfee knows something about the WNBA. I wouldn't tell you to come to this show to get WNBA content. And I used to work for the Phoenix Mercury. It's hopeless. We can't see something for what it is.